All right, I'm making another Fibble. This is the game that's just like Wordle, but on every row, one of the clues is a lie. They're starting us with vowel, and interestingly, they're all gray, which tells us exactly one of those letters is in the answer. So let's just do, I don't know, any of them. Let's do the O. How about let's do sorts. Sometimes duplicating a letter is a good idea. Okay, well, we did not get any contradictions. We could do something like no, we can't do the S. We could do the ST though. That would work. Let's do joust. That's pretty good. Okay, well, we didn't get any contradictions there. So we could do the OU and the T. The U would be the lie, but then we'd have to have an R from sorts. So you could do that. Court. Okay, well, one of the O's is a lie, so the yellow U is definitely true. And there is, one of the T's is a lie. So everything on those two rows is true except for the O and the T. So there's no S, there's no R. So, if the O is, if the green O is true, then there is a T and it's not at the end, and it's not, and it has to be fourth. Okay, because if the O is second, then this is a lie, but this is true, which makes that a lie. But we know there is a T, so there would have to be a T fourth. There's either an O second and a T fourth, and a U. Oh, that's interesting, because then you have either a U at the end or a UO. It's not going to be UO. It would have to be this. I don't think that's going to work. I think this is going to be the lie. This is true, which means this is a lie, which means this is true. So there's no O. There's a T at the end. There could be another T. So, this has to be true. Yeah. So that's not, there could be another T, but it's not going to be fourth. We need a V, W, E, or L, and we need a U. So let's do like U and T, and then, we could almost do duvet, but we can't do a V and an E. But we could do ET still. Or L, LT, or L here. Or we could do the U at the beginning, do like something, unlit. Okay, well, we know the T at the end is right. We know there is a U. Could it be something and then new letters, but we can't do unmet with the E instead of the L. Okay, well, one of the U's is a lie, so the gray N is definitely true. Okay, so if the U is at the beginning, then we'd have to have an M and an E. I don't think that's gonna work. So I think this is gonna be a lie. These are true. There's no L. There could be no U. We could just have M and E and T. No, there has to be a U. There is a U, so if it's not at the beginning, then this is true. So the M or the E has to be the lie. Can we do something like that? Or maybe there's no M. But I think the U has to be second either way, or fourth. What if it was something like this? Debut. Oh, there we go. Well, it took quite a while for the debut to happen, but we got there in 6. Not too bad. All right, well, the double green lying O in a row there made it a little bit tricky at the beginning, but not too bad. We just had to find the right combination of letters. We got there eventually. Let me know how your solve went, and of course, be sure to subscribe for more.